warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Salvia Neysa Syakira with name 29 from Class 4A English Education Department, Faculty of Tarbiyah and Teacher Training, State Islamic University Syarif Hidayatullah, Jakarta. So today I will review 10 articles that these articles is focuses on analyzing in the teaching and learning and English grammar, also for the method of teaching to gap that has been there in the teaching grammar, and how can we tackle it in this article. So with this article, me as an English education department students, knowing that this articles is beneficial for me especially, and also for those people that integrated into the English education department, that they would teaching in the future. So here we go. So the first book is with the title Language Games and Teaching and Learning English Grammar, a literature review by Nur Shafika Yaqub and Melot MD Yunus. For the objective of this article examines the growth of digital learning tools and web applications being used in lessons, taking the use of language games to a modern and advanced platform for learners to engage in lessons. By highlighting the advantages and related past studies on learners' fluency, interest, and motivation. Although there have been debates comparing the effectiveness of traditional grammar learning and the ones using games. And the result of these studies, authors say that using language games will help improving educators to make fun learning materials, and it can encourage ESL learners' interest, motivation, and fluency as well as to suit their proficiency level and learning styles. The advantage is language game is more effective to use because it can save more time as learners are directly exposed to using grammar and context and developing fluency in creating sentences. And for the second articles, with the title English Language Learning at Tertiary Level in a Central Mexican Public University, a case study. Racema Mora Pablo, PhD, Edgar Emanuel Garcia Ponce, PhD. This article examined the perception according to the teaching and learning of English in 16 undergraduate programs at a state public university in Mexico. Students from 16 diverse undergraduate programs shared their perspective on the teaching and learning of the English language at the university level. Others asked them to disclose their expectation and how they balance the advantages of learning a second language and obtaining a better job. And the result of this study reflect part of a complex situation in Mexico where efforts and resources have been invested in the implementation of a variety of English programs. However, the lack of continuity of English programs and the lack of alignment to the programs by state public universities result in the students continuing to have a basic level of English. Those who believe they can achieve a higher level have difficulty attaining this in the university because they do not feel challenged. And the third article, Students' Attitudes Towards Learning English Grammar, a study of skill development by Emil Akai and Satin Turaman. This article examines the English language learners' attitudes towards grammar and to analyze these attitudes in the framework of several variables: gender, age, faculty, time spent on learning English, and proficiency level. Many studies have been conducted on grammar teaching and learning in this process of language learning. However, the learner's attitudes and perception on this issue have been mostly ignored. And the result of this study is revealed that the skill was highly reliable, and it consists of two factors that show student positive and negative attitudes toward learning grammars. It was also discovered that gender, age, time spent on learning English, and proficiency level of learners did not create a significant difference toward learning grammar in English lessons. The faculties that students continue their higher education did not create a significant difference regarding the negative attitude towards grammar either. However, the faculties of learners created a significant difference in the students' positive attitude towards grammar. This means students' positive attitudes towards learning grammar may vary according to the faculties they study. And the next one is needs analysis for English grammar learning model from students' perspective by Wisma Yunita, Mzir, and Ilza Mayuni. This article examines that aims at finding out the needs in learning English grammar from student perspective at the EESP of the University of Bengkulu. Need analysis is required to take place before developing a model for learning so that results meet the needs of the students who will use the model. The result of this study, it has shown that students need clear goal of learning English grammar. Learning approaches that uses the story-based, the deductive, and the inductive approach. A friendly and meaningful learning atmosphere, a learning model that incorporates the uses of stories and current technology for a learning process in the classroom and has a complete support system, especially the learning materials, and has an attitude of final assignment and an individual learning process result assessment. And the next article is the correlation between English grammar competence and speaking fluency by Siska Anissa Kusumawardani and Endah Mardiani. The objective of this article is examine how English grammar competence can influence speaking fluency. To master English, we have to strengthen listening, speaking, reading, and writing. The most needed nowadays is speaking English. Speaking English is used as a second language for communication in some countries. Therefore, speaking English is important for students to face the era of globalization. The result, authors say that the result of data analysis shows that as follows: the students' grammar competence was good. It is because the mean score of the students was 61.76 and the student speaking fluency was poor. It is because the mean score of students was 37.5. For the significance, two-tailed is 0.113. It is larger than 0.05. Social significant value, and it means that there is no correlation between English grammar competence and speaking fluency. The value of correlation coefficient obtained is 0.277, while the criteria of the correlation 0.20 to 0.399 are considered weak based on surrogate. It means that the level of relationship of the correlation coefficient of the two variables is weak. And the next article is Teacher Strategies on Teaching Grammar, Facts and Expectation of Senior High School Teachers at Anbon by Tricia Rosa Souza and Leliamin Yanuarios. The objective of this study aimed at describing the English as a foreign language, if EFL, senior high school teachers' perception on grammar teaching. Their teaching strategies which are the most and less frequently applied in their classroom practices and the challenges that they have in teaching grammar. The result, authors say that the result of this research is the teacher's perception of grammar teaching are based on their conceptual knowledge as they have experienced it in their classroom practices. The teacher's conceptual knowledge is rooted in grammar theory types such as prescriptive grammar, descriptive grammar, and traditional grammar. In line with grammar teaching strategies, most teachers apply structural context strategies, text, stories, grammar translation, and cooperative learning strategy. The most strategy used in their classroom practices are structural context strategy and cooperative learning strategy. And the last strategy used in the classroom practices is under structural context strategy in terms of role playing the situation. And for the next article is the place of grammar instruction in the 21st century, exploring global perspective of teaching English teachers toward the role of teaching grammar in EFL or ESL classroom by Muhammad H. Al-Krashah and Suhaila Demirkol Orak. The objective of this study, the perspective held by English teachers around the world regarding the role of teaching grammar in AFL or ESL classrooms, and whether the divergence in this perspective is influenced by variables such as gender, country, seniority, or educational background of the participants. The result of this study conclude that ELT teachers maintain highly positive perception regarding the importance of grammar teaching in ELT. Students with excellent grammatical skills acquire greater proficiency in the target language. Immediate correction of grammatical mistakes was detrimental to their self-confidence and only served as an unnecessary interruption to their language learning process. Inductive techniques and implicit teaching approaches were deemed preferable, while age, gender, and educational background were found to exercise no significant effect on the participant perspective. Seniority and country of origin were observed to have a marked effect. The next one is the implementation of contextual teaching and learning on English grammar competence by Imam Nur Aziz and Yuliani Setiodewi. The objective is the effectiveness of contextual teaching and learning (CTL) in teaching grammar. Authors find a phenomenon that students in the early stage have less understanding and practicing grammar as their first stage in mastering English by Yani, Salvia and Putri. They prefer to learn English by themselves without caring for the grammatical words or sentences they learn. The result, authors say that based on the result of the counting after analyzing the data, it is found out that a value 8.7 is a higher than F critical score. This gives an interpretation that the null hypothesis is rejected and the alternative hypothesis is accepted. So it shows that the students who are taught using CTL have a better score than those who are taught using the conventional method. Finally, this means that the contextual teaching and learning CTL method is more effective than the conventional method in teaching grammar. And EFL students' belief about how they learn grammar best by Isegul Daloglu. The objective of this study explore learner belief about how they best learn grammar, focusing on four construct pairs: meaning focus versus form focus instruction, focus on form versus focus on forms, explicit versus implicit instruction, and inductive versus deductive grammar instruction. The result, the finding of this study indicated that prep school freshmen and sophomore students considered implicit grammar instruction to be their preferred method of language instruction, whereas junior and senior undergrad students were preferred meaning focused instruction. This finding shows that students can change their belief as they progress through their undergrad education. However, focus on form remain the least preferred method of participating students of all years. And for the last one is EFL students believe about how they learn grammar best, teaching pedagogical grammar in context to enrich English language learner academic writing by Dr. Yusuf Zagwani Omar. This article focuses on how to teach pedagogical grammar to help ELLs write effectively in academic situations. The main objective of this study is to explore how teaching pedagogical grammar can enhance and enrich ELL's academic writing. Findings of this study are going to propose some strategies regarding teaching pedagogical grammar in writing context to enhance ELL's academic writing. The study also might be used for the future investigation in the same or relevant topic. The result, according to the findings obtained from both primary and secondary resources, the researchers the researchers have provided some recommendation that might be used by decision makers, administrators, and teachers of writing to improve the methods of teaching writing at schools. Teachers of writing should motivate students to manipulate grammar and writing context. So that's all from me for the article review presentation. Hope you guys can get a beneficial impact from this presentation. So, bye. See you next time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.